Hi, guys. So this week we are going to do a little bit of history because I want you to be familiar with some of the origins or the beginnings of algebra. So I'm going to read this passage to you. If you don't want to hear it read, feel free to read it on your own. This video is just me reading it, and maybe you could read along with me. All right. Al-Khwarizmi, the father of algebra. You are about to enter into learning a mysterious and amazing kind of math called algebra. Algebra has an interesting history that might surprise you. About 1200 years ago, there was a brilliant mathematician named Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi. He lived in the Middle East and was born in what is now the country of Uzbekistan. Of course, back then it was not known by the same name. Khwarizmi was a Muslim and a great scholar. In fact, as a young man, al-Khwarizmi moved to the great city of Baghdad so that he could study with some of the best minds in the world. The rulers of Baghdad during that time believed that learning was a way to glorify God. They supported the House of Wisdom, a place where scholars from many places could gather. Muslims, Jews, and Christians all learned together. This time period, 750 to 1250 AD, is known as the Golden Age because so many discoveries were made. These discoveries changed life as we know it and led to modern inventions and understanding. The students spent a lot of time gathering and translating the work of the ancient Greeks and Indians from India so that all of the knowledge could be put together and passed around the world. This was especially important because while the Islamic world in the Middle East was experiencing the Golden Age, Europe was experiencing a period of time known as the Dark Ages. There was not a lot of learning or discovery in Europe at the time. Khwarizmi studied hard and loved learning. After many years, he eventually became the leader of the House of Wisdom. Khwarizmi was interested in many subjects and made many important accomplishments over his lifetime. He changed the way people understood astronomy, geography, geometry, cartography, and math. One of his greatest contributions was the number system we use today. It is called the Arabic numeral system, but he used the basics of the Hindu number system from India to design the numbers. Before Khwarizmi gave us this number system, people in many parts of the world were using the Roman numeral system, which didn't even have a zero. Khwarizmi is best known as the father of algebra. He described balancing an equation by adding or subtracting a term from both sides and called it restoration, or in Arabic, al-jabr. He was the first to recognize how equations were like a scale. Of course, we base the methods we use today on what he taught us to solve equations, like you are doing now in your math class. When his work was translated to Latin 300 years after his death in 1145, Al-Jabr became algebra. Khwarizmi's algebra would not have looked like an algebra problem the way it's written today. He did not use symbols or variables, but wrote out the problem in sentences. Can you imagine how much work that must have been? Next time you want to complain about showing your work, just be grateful that you don't have to write it all out in sentences. Khwarizmi died in 850, but almost 1200 years later, we remember his contribution and that of the other Islamic scholars of the Golden Age.